start of segment 2, Introduction to Economics Part 1. So, in this segment, I am going to introduce to you some very basic concepts in economics. What is the subject of economics about? Why do you need to study economics? And the idea of what is called a circular flow in economics. So, this is what I am going to introduce to you in this course. Now, why do we need to do economics, study economics at all? The reason is that in order to understand what companies do and the kind of if you want to look at their operations, or if you want to look at their financial statements or whatever it is, and try to interpret the data that is generated from within the company or outside the company about these things, then you need a model, right? You need some kind of a model which into which you have to put all this data and then use that to analyze. So, the models for such analysis usually come from economics, right? Similarly, understanding consumption and the variation of consumption with other parameters, the linkage of consumption with other parameters, like for example, price, inflation, which is overall price increases of several things. These things basically, again, economics gives us some idea. And if you look at the data in trade of goods and services, what does the information about trade tell us? So, you can compare economics in some sense to physics, right? So, physics basically what it does is it tries to create a world view, a picture of the world. And in order to create a picture, for example, you want to study if I apply a force to an object, what will happen to the object? You want to understand that. So, of course, you can experiment and you can do all these things. You know that when you apply a force, the body will start to move faster and faster, that we know. But how much faster can I calculate and so on? For that I need a mathematical model. Then you find basically that you can write that if I apply a force on a mass m, then it will accelerate by a, where a is given by F by m. We know that, right? So, now we are using mathematics, right? We are using division and all that. And we can say that if the initial velocity of this body is u, and if you are accelerating it with an acceleration a, then the final velocity v will be given by u plus a times that amount of time t, right? Like that you can say something. These are all equations, algebraic equations that you can write, for which you need mathematics. So, you can write the same thing, like you can write a as a differential of velocity and so on. So, or velocity as a differential of displacement or something like that. And when you do that, you are basically writing all these things in terms of mathematical tools. In the same way, economics tries to model the economic world using mathematics. So, we will create mathematical models of the world using economics, and these mathematical models will then be applied to understand the economic world. So, it is like physics in that sense. Think about it like physics, where instead of using mathematical models to model physical phenomena, you are using mathematics to model economic phenomena. Okay. Now, the starting point that I am going to, where I am going to start basically in economics is with trade. Okay. So, the thing I want to illustrate to you is that trade creates value, right? This is a good starting point because it clears the mind in terms of understanding. Look, a lot of people think that trade is something that is very exploitative or something like that. There is a producer, there is a consumer should buy from the producer. Why this middleman is there trying to make money? This is what one thinks. But actually trade creates value. I want to show you why, right? So, let us say there are two states. In this case, there is a state, Punjab state, right? There is Punjab here and there is Tamil Nadu, two states. So, Punjab, is producing excess wheat, right? Excess wheat means that they are producing some wheat and they are consuming some wheat. The amount of wheat they are producing is much more than the wheat that they need locally. So, we have to do something with the excess wheat. What do they do with the excess wheat? They can store it and keep it and use it later, but next year again they will produce more wheat than they need. So, they will keep on storing more and more wheat. There is no use for the excess wheat, right? Similarly, Tamil Nadu is a place where we make phones. You know that a lot of mobile phones in India that are sold in India are all made in Tamil Nadu. So, Tamil Nadu produces a lot of phones, much more phones than they are needed in Tamil Nadu. Now, again, what do they do with the excess phones? They can store it, but then again same problem. You keep storing the phone, the next year that phone is not in fashion anymore. Nobody wants last year's phone, they want this year's phone, right? So, then what do you do with that phone which was made 3 years ago? You have to throw it only. So, that is a waste, right? So, you see basically that there is some potential for us to do something, because Punjab is making wheat, Tamil Nadu is making phones, But people in Punjab also need phones, right? They also are going to use make phone calls, so they need phones. And people in Tamil Nadu also eat chapati, and also they also need wheat. So Tamil Nadu need wheat, and wheat is not grown that much in Tamil Nadu, and Punjab needs phones, and phone is not made in Punjab. So what is the best way to answer this? The best way to address this is that Punjab sells or gives wheat to Tamil Nadu, and Tamil Nadu in return gives mobile phones to Punjab. This is called barter, right? Barter basically means I give something and you give something back to me, right? In the very, very old days, this is how people used to do things. They used to make something, I used to make some food or something, and you used to have some leather or something like that. I'll give you food and you'll give me leather, right? Something like that we used to do, right? Bartering. And what is interesting to see in this business of exchange, right? This is exchange. So this is an exchange that is going on, right? This wheat has gone from here to here, and mobile phones have gone from here to here. So exchange. So in this exchange, value is created. How is that? It's created because Punjab has very little value for the excess wheat, right? As I explained, Punjab can only consume some amount of wheat. After that, whatever wheat you are producing, no use for Punjab. So the value of the excess wheat is nearly zero for Punjab. On the other hand, Tamil Nadu, there is no wheat. So people who want to eat chapatis in Tamil Nadu are willing to pay good amount of money to get the wheat. So there is value for wheat in Tamil Nadu. There is no value for wheat in excess wheat. Excess wheat, right? The first bit of wheat, of course, there is value. After that, when the excess wheat, the extra wheat that is there is little value for that, whereas Tamil Nadu is valuing it highly. Similarly, the excess phones in Tamil Nadu has very little value, whereas the excess phones are valued very highly in Punjab. So when a low value object is transferred, low value means the wheat that is not being used in Punjab is transferred to Tamil Nadu, where the value is high, you created value suddenly, even though you didn't produce anything. Okay, you have not produced wheat, right? Wheat production has happened. You are just transferring the wheat from one place to another and then created value. You created value because people in Tamil Nadu have a much higher value for wheat than people in Punjab. And similarly, people in Punjab have a much higher value for the excess mobile phones than Tamil Nadu. So by transferring the excess phones from Tamil Nadu to Punjab, you have created value. So in both directions, right? In both directions you created value. So this barter trade between Punjab and Tamil Nadu increased the value of both sides. Okay. So this is the fundamental concept on which we build economic model. The economic model being that exchange creates value, and then we have to ask the question, this value that is created, basically who shares that value? Who gets that value? Does it go to the producer? Does it go all to the consumer? Does it go partly to producer, partly to consumer? Does some amount go to the trade? And like that you have to ask, right? Of course, there is some cost in moving the wheat from Punjab to Tamil Nadu. So if all the value that Tamil Nadu is willing to give for the wheat is lost because of the cost of transportation, then this trade will never happen. Okay, so you have to look into economics of transportation and also in this calculation. Now typically you don't do barter, right? What you do is that a currency is created. So Punjab sells wheat to Tamil Nadu, and then Tamil Nadu gives some currency. In the olden days, the king used to mint their coins with their faces on it or something. Later on, we had national government, so now we are a government Republic of India now. So we are basically, the Reserve Bank basically is responsible for creating currency, right? So the rupees are all basically generated by Reserve Bank of India. So Punjab will sell wheat to Tamil Nadu, and Tamil Nadu will give rupees to Punjab, and in turn Punjab will buy mobile phones and give rupees. So rupees are flowing like this and then flowing back like this. Wheat is going like this, mobile phone is going like this. So these are the flows that are there. Okay, so trade is settled using money, right? Typically. Now, if you look at this diagram a little bit more closely, you'll see basically that though I have said Punjab and Tamil Nadu as if they are entities, they are not really like that, right? You know that inside Punjab there are people who are growing wheat, and there are other people, there are all kinds of people who are not necessarily growing wheat also, or even those who are growing wheat also who will consume things, right? And then there are people inside Tamil Nadu also, there are producers of mobile phones, and there are consumers, general consumers, right? So it is not the companies that are making mobile phones that are consuming the wheat. Of course, the people working in those companies may consume some wheat, but the consumption of wheat is taking place by the people of Tamil Nadu at large. So we should basically divide it like this. We should say the producers of Punjab are selling wheat to the consumers of Tamil Nadu. Of course, some of those consumers also working for this producer. That's fine. Then these Tamil Nadu producers are selling mobile phones to consumers of Punjab. So the picture we have really is Punjab producer is there, Tamil Nadu consumer is there, Tamil Nadu producer is there, Punjab consumer is there. Of course, now you can ask, is it not that Punjab consumer is consuming wheat? Of course, he is consuming wheat. So we should draw that also. So Punjab consumer is drawing wheat from Punjab producer and giving rupees, and similarly Tamil Nadu consumer is consuming mobile phones and giving rupees. So this is the picture we have now, which looks a little better than what we had earlier, because it broke the thing down into producers and consumers. Okay, so we have producers for producing and consumers, but you see that producer is not necessarily selling here, in this case at least, not selling to each other, and consumer is not doing anything with each other. So these two diagonals are empty, whereas all the arrows are like this, right? So one could think, why don't we reorganize this in a better way? Rather than saying Punjab and Tamil Nadu, of course, Punjab, Tamil Nadu, some trade is going on, but rather than saying Punjab, Tamil Nadu, can't we put all the producers on one side and all the consumers on the other side? That might be a different picture, more interesting picture maybe. And this is what economics does. Okay, it puts all the producers together. So you have Punjab producers and Tamil Nadu producers have come together, which means Punjab producers, this one, and Tamil Nadu producers, this one. These two come together, and Tamil Nadu consumers and Punjab consumers have come together. So they have come together, and I put them all in a big box. This is called the producer box. This is called the consumer box. The producer box is selling wheat and mobile phones to consumers. Some of them are Punjab consumers, some of them are Tamil Nadu consumers. But at this point, I don't care, right? Of course, if I have to sell it to Tamil Nadu, I have to transport it, so it's additional cost. If I have to sell it to Punjab, maybe I don't have to transport it. Of course, I have transport inside Punjab also is transport, but less transport than transporting to Tamil Nadu. So like that, I can say that I don't care. I will just treat them all as consumers, and I will figure out what price to sell to Punjab and Tamil Nadu, and similarly mobile phones. So producers are producing wheat and mobile phone, two types of things in this case, and the consumers are giving rupees to producers. Now when you look at this picture, suddenly another thing strikes you. Okay, when I looked at this picture like this, it looked like Punjab is getting rupees and it's giving rupees. It's got rupees from Tamil Nadu, so it gave rupees to Tamil Nadu, no problem. It seemed easier. But here, in this picture, there's only rupees going like this. So where did this fellow get his rupees from, right? So he's selling, producer is selling all these things, giving, but where did this consumer get his rupees from? So I'll stop a little bit, just pause the video here and think about it a little bit, and then you can resume the video. Okay, so I'll just give you a little bit of time, think about it. Where did the consumer get his rupees that he can spend on products? Okay, think about that. Okay, so if you have thought about it, you will find basically that the consumer is getting their rupees because they work for the producers, right? Clearly, they get employed by producers. Producers can't do anything without three things. One is land. They need land. Why do they need land? Farm needs land to grow things. A factory needs land basically to put up the factory. Second thing they need is labor. They need to employ people. Farm needs a lot of people to to sow the crop, to reap the crop, and to clean the crop and all that, right? And the third, and to maintain the crop. And then they need money, right? They have to buy materials, they have to buy equipment, they have to do all that. So for that they need capital. So where does the land, labor and capital come from? It comes from consumers. So a consumer might choose to give land on lease or rent or something like that. So they get rent from that. Then they go and work in factories. So because of that they get paid. So they get wages from that, and they may give capital, right? So they may lend money to the company and they get interest on that. So they may get interest on capital, they may get rent on land, and they may get wages. So three forms of income flows back. So this flow shows basically that the consumer is providing land, labor and capital to firm and getting rupees. That rupee they are spending on producers and buying products. So this seems to be a circular flow that makes sense. All right. Now the question that comes really is, now when you look at this picture a little bit more carefully, we can ask, these consumers that we have written, right? There is a box called consumers. Who are they, right? Are they individuals? Now some things individually we buy, like for example mobile phones we buy individually, but many things that we buy, we don't buy for ourselves, we buy for our whole house. Like if I buy rice or wheat or sugar or something, I am buying it for my house, then my house will cook it and then everybody in the house will eat the same thing. Similarly, if I have rented a house, then that house rent is basically meant for all the people in the house, it's not for me, right? So there are many things that we buy in the house or consume in the house which are not only for ourselves but for everybody in the house, which is why the unit of consumption in most economic models is basically a household, right? A house and not a individual, because it's very difficult to disaggregate consumption at the individual level. So that's why they do at the level of households. So what I have done is, previously I had consumers, I changed consumers to households. Okay. So on this side I have households, and easier to enumerate also. What I will do basically is I will go around to house by house. Every house has an address and all. I will go to the house, knock on the door, go inside, ask them questions. How many people are there in your house? What do you buy? What did you buy last month and all? And they will tell me what they bought, right, in the house. So that is a method of doing a survey, house by house. Similarly, if I look at this side, the producer side, there also there's some color comes, right? Because households or individuals or whatever don't go to a company. If I want to buy wheat, I don't go to a farmer and buy the wheat normally, right? Some people might, but normally we don't do that. Similarly, if I want to buy mobile phones, it's not like I walk to Foxconn factory in Sriperumbudur and try to get the phone from the factory. The guy will not even sell it to me. He will say, I can't sell you. So there's no way to get the phone like that or wheat like that. Where do we go? We usually go to a shop. If I want to buy a mobile phone, I'll go to a mobile phone shop or I'll buy it online. If I want to buy wheat, again I will go to a shop, grocery shop or something, and buy the wheat. Right? That's why I do my purchase. Atta I will buy from some place. So it is not the producer who is actually directly giving it to the household. There is an entire ecosystem of intermediaries. Right? The producer will sell it to somebody called a wholesaler. The wholesaler will then sell it to a retailer. Right? So this guy has got godown, depot and all that, and he sells it to a retail store, a small shop, kirana shop or something, and the household buys it from the kirana shop. So you have this intermediary called trade, right? Retail trade and wholesale trade, and this guy is basically the one who is actually making contact with the household to sell. Similarly, on this side, when I look at the land, labor and capital, normally I don't go to a company and give land. My land, if I have a large piece of land, some real estate company might take the land from me, buy the land, or may take the land from me on a long lease, or we may have a joint development agreement, and then they will make that land into something usable by a factory, right? That can be done. Similarly, capital also, I don't go and give directly company might raise money from directly from the stock market and I might invest in it, that's possible. But most of the times what we are doing is we are putting our deposit in a bank, which is a financial institution, and the bank is basically lending money to the company. So we put our deposit in the bank basically out of the deposit a small part is kept aside as a reserve, and the rest of it they lend it to producers. So that's how the producer gets capital. So there are intermediaries like financial institutions, real estate companies, staffing companies. I will show you later a chart in one of the later segments. I'll show you a chart where we'll see basically that most of the staffing is not directly by the companies, but via temporary staffing agencies, right? So the people actually go and work for the staffing companies who then place these people in the companies. That's the way it works. So the intermediaries like this and like this are very important for making all these transactions happen. So what we do is we typically call all these things as firms. That's the name, right? Firm. We call them firms. So retail firms, wholesale firms, factories, financial banks, all are firms, right? So we have different types of firms. So the entire ecosystem of all the organized things that are there that make that give products and services to households and employ them and take their capital and make use of it and all those things basically they're all called firms. So you could have even more interesting thing, like for example if you take producers, it's not like it's a one single box. I've shown it as a box here, but it's not a box. I'm just showing you an example of a car company. A car basically consists of many parts. You know that it has an engine, it has tire, it has seat, it has some electronics, some entertainment system or something, and it has windshield glass and all that, right? Many other components are there. Now there are different companies. Engine is made by a different company, tire is made by a tire company. So Apollo is a company that makes tires, MRF, you see their ads right on the television. There are seat companies, separate companies that make seats. There are companies that make electronic systems like Panasonic, Sony and all make electronic systems. There are companies that just specialize in making windshield, right? So there are different companies making these parts. And if you take something like a windshield, it needs glass sheet, it needs adhesive, which comes from silica. For seat you might need plastic. For tire you might need rubber. For the chassis and engine and all you need steel. So there are companies that make steel. There's Tata Steel is making steel and giving it to automotive somebody who's making engine, who's then giving it to somebody else, like that. So there's a whole supply chain, whole value chain of companies that are involved in order to get the final car out into your hand. So this basically shows that, though I have put one box there saying producers, that one box basically can be blown up into a large number of many different types of firms. But as far as we are concerned, we are going to put all of them into this little box here and call it firm. Firm basically means all those things which I talked about. It could be trading company, it could be bank, it could be manufacturing company, it could be a component supplier, it could be anything. All right, all the steel company, cement company, all of them, energy company, everybody is inside this. Transportation company, they're all there. Okay, and there are households on this side which we discussed, which are basically houses, and these houses are buying goods and services from firms, and in return they are giving land, labor and capital. This model, simplified model, right, in some sense I have distilled all the things we discussed into two boxes like this, some diagram. This is called the circular flow model, right? And one can add a little bit more color into this circular flow model by putting two more boxes like this, because we know that households have choice, right? When I want to buy wheat, I can go, there are many brands of wheat first of all, and I can go also to different shops. I can go to one shop, ask for what is the price of wheat there or atta there, and they say it is something. Then I go to another shop, ask what is the price of atta, they say something, and compare it, and then I will decide basically that the second shop is a better place to buy atta. On the other hand, I might buy sugar from the first shop. So I don't necessarily buy everything from the same place. Based on my survey of where it is cheaper and all that, I will do it. So this entire search process or this matchmaking process between product and service is happening in what is called the product market. Now, of course, some of these are physically present as markets, in the sense that you might, for example, have in the villages and all, you have this organized selling mandis are there, where the organic farmers produce is brought there, customers, bulk customers come there, and then they haggle, they negotiate, they buy and they go, right? So that happens. Or for example, there are these interesting markets that come up on certain days. Like for example, on a Saturday you may have a market where all the producers basically come on to one place, right, by the side of the road, and they put up all their wares there, and then people come and buy vegetables or something and they go, right? So those are the examples of markets. So markets can be formal, can be informal, can be organized, can be unorganized, all that kind of stuff, right? But there is intermediation between firms and households for goods and services through what are called product markets. Similarly, there is intermediation between firms and households for the resources like land, labor and capital. These are called the resource markets. Okay, so this picture, this circular flow picture with firms, households and two types of markets is the crux of the economic model that we will use to understand all the data sources that come from outside a company. Okay, now I'll just put one more box in the middle of this called the government. So you can ask, why is there a government? What is the role of the government? The answer is that the government basically regulates all these things, activities, through the means of various things. Like one thing that the government has to do is to give license to firms to operate. It cannot just allow anybody to start producing anything. It has to check that the firm has the ability to do it, it's following the norms correctly, its financials are correct, it's not cheating customers and so on. It has to check the quality of products that are coming out from this firm, and those activities are called public goods, right? All those services that the government is giving, like it might decide that it makes IT park or a specific place, manufacturing setup where firms can come, and some shared facilities may be there. Road will be there, electricity will be there, water will be there, all those arrangements will be there. Firms have to just come up, set up and start doing. So those kinds of public goods, right, common shared public goods, government provides. And it also may give incentives once in a while to encourage certain things, like we have right now in India, production linked incentives and so on, to encourage firms to get into various sectors of manufacturing. In turn, the government collects taxes from firms. Two kinds of taxes. One is sales tax, which is now called goods and services tax, GST in India. The other tax is income tax. So the profit that the company makes, part of it you have to pay to the government in the form of taxes. Similarly, the government also gives a lot of public goods and services to households. We know we get a lot of government services like Aadhaar and other things. We also get public distribution, ration and all that. We get free food, rice, all these kind of things we get. Or we may get subsidies, we may get transfers, as they're called, direct benefit transfers, DBTs. So government may just give us some money basically every month, like pension or something like that for old people. They may give some money, and then that money we can use to buy goods, or they can just give us free rice or something like that through the public distribution system. And in turn, the government collects taxes from people. Okay, So, the government basically regulates this system by using incentives and transfers and collects taxes basically to do its operations. This is the role of the government. So, this gives you a broad, very simple picture of economics, what it is all about. In the next segment, I am going to discuss the micro model, right, the underlying basis of these markets. How do these markets work through demand and supply, right? That is what I am going to discuss in the next segment. Before I do that, one should understand that somebody may have in their mind this doubt. I mean, we have seen government actually running companies, right? So there are these things called public sector enterprises. So, for example, we have in the defense sector, all the manufacturing is done by the government itself. We have State Bank of India, which is a government bank. We also have private banks. ICICI Bank is a private bank. The government, there is Indian Oil Corporation, which is basically, it's a government petroleum company. And then Reliance is a private petroleum company. So, we have both government and private operating. So, it's what is called the hybrid model. So, sometimes the government may choose to, because they find that certain areas it's not possible to do public goods and incentivize firms to do certain thing. So, government itself decides to get into it, like BSNL does telecom or something like that, right? So, you can do that. Government can decide to set up its own firm, which is called a public sector enterprise. On the other side, government is also a big consumer of things, right? So, defense is a great example where the defense consumes so many things. Government also, offices of government, they need various things. They need energy, they need, they need to consume raw material and so on. So, the government is also a consumer, right? So, government is a producer sometimes, government is a consumer most times. So, we should view the government not only in terms of the taxes it collects and the incentives and public goods that it provides, but also in terms of the government being a producer or consumer. Sometimes you say producer or consumer of last resort in some sense, producer of last resort, which means because others are not doing it, government gets into it and does it. Okay. So, with that we come to the end of this segment.